Well, trippers, it is happening. We're traveling to a part of Texas that we have never been before, at least not on the show. The northern Red River Valley, to a small town where the tales of the cattle drives and the smell of rich leather combine into what can only be described as Nocona! This episode was made for y'all with the help of our awesome partners. Check the caption for more info. Nocona sits in North Texas, about 10 miles from the Red River. From Dallas or Fort Worth, it's under 2 hours. But be careful not to trip any further north, or you'll find yourself in the Sooner State. Boomer Sooner! Who said that? Get out of my episode! Up here in the northern borderlands of Texas, the history runs even deeper than the old Red River itself. And in this town of about 3,000, well, history paints each and every corner. All right, guys, here we are, Nocona, named after the great Comanche Indian chief, Peta Nocona. And what people don't know about Peta Nocona is that he actually invented the great American pastime of baseball.
No,
you're right. No, not really. But that'd be an awesome story. However, if you know the name Nocona, chances are it does have something to do with baseball, and that's going to be our first stop. I mentioned Nocona's leather scent. Well, it's more than saddles and chaps. It's baseball, specifically Nocona Ballgloves. And not only are they known as the best ball gloves in the game, but they're also the last true American-made ball glove company. All right, so here we are, the Nocona Baseball Glove Factory. All of these gloves are made right here in Nocona, Texas, in this building. From pro ballers to little leaguers to those looking for the edge in their men's slow-pitch softball league, like somebody I won't mention, if you need to catch a ball, Nocona makes a glove that fits. And since they started back in 1934, well, they've seen many styles change. But the one thing that hasn't is that they're still made by hand. Here's President Jeff Barasnik to give us a tour. And as you can imagine, it all starts with leather.
We use steer hides, but we also do exotics, things like kangaroo leather. That's very lightweight. Been using kangaroo for the past 50 plus years.
Really? Well, like this one, much lighter.
This is actually bison.
Whoa!
And characteristic of bison is it's lightweight, very popular on club and travel teams, players.
Man. Next is where the magic begins.
There's a lot of different components that make up a ball glove. What Paul's doing is cutting the liners.
That reminds me of like cutting out sugar cookies. You got to make sure you use all the dough.
Yes, since this is a highly skilled operation, it takes a long time to learn. Certain parts of the hide, like the neck and the back, where the leather is the strongest, is where you want to cut the palm.
The pocket, the palm,
yes,
right
the palm, to make sure you get a lot of strength here and in the web. This cutter over here, it actually runs in the family. His mother was a cutter at Nocona doing this same job for many years before him.
Wow. Nocona Ball Gloves is a legacy in more ways than one. And just like the jobs are passed down, well, the gloves are too. So, I mean, a Nocona glove is not a disposable item.
It's not a disposable item, and very often it's being passed down through the generations from family members to family members.
And after the logo stamping and embroidery, the serious construction begins.
There's no machine that can magically make this. You need an operator stitching each one the same way you see Rosemary doing
by
right
hand.
here.
Wow! And she's not missing a beat.
She's been doing it for a little while, so she knows what she's doing.
Wow, cool. There are actually two gloves being made, the inside glove and the outside glove, which must fit together perfectly every time.
Next part here, this is the closing stage of the glove, and this is probably the most difficult operation in the entire factory.
Man, she's got to use, that's like upper body strength. She's manhandling the leather.
It is.
Or woman handling the leather here.
It's both a physical and a mental job. It takes years to do closing properly.
Oh man, wow. Closing has always been the hardest position in baseball. Seems that applies to baseball gloves too.
Every glove's got to be laced individually.
Yeah.
And unlike, you know, some of the other stages where there's an actual sewing machine, here the only tool they have is what you see in front of them.
Wow.
And there's a lacing pattern based on the size and the style of the glove that changes. So they have it memorized based on their experience.
These gloves take a literal pounding to soften and shape, and finally, we have a glove.
Here we go. So this one's ready to go.
Ready to go with a couple of exceptions. One, the laces need to be cut and tied. You can see how long they are.
Yeah, yeah. If you like fringe when you're playing outfield.
Hey! I've seen lots of factories, but folks, this is up there with the best of them, making these gloves true works of art.
This is cool. I mean, when you see a process like this, you just walk away with so much more respect for the craftsmanship that goes into one of these things.
It's different when you come here and you actually see how it's made. So
yeah,
that's why we love when people come and visit.
That's too cool.
Oh yeah, and about that guy who needed a softball glove?
Right now, I'm in the adult men's slow pitch softball leagues, but I'm on the come up, I think.
You still need a Nocona.
I still need a Nocona. Yeah.
We'll make it happen.
All right, cool.
Watch out, fellow pastime and past prime ballers. Next stop, the big leagues. Gloves are just one piece of Nocona's leathery past and are now made in the old Nocona Boot Factory. Today they share the building with a brewery and a boot store. However, sadly, Nocona boots themselves are no longer made in Nocona, Texas. Neither are the world-famous Justin boots, which got their start in these parts back in 1879. Why not, you ask? Well, Nocona's boot-making story is sort of like a soap opera for the Texas history books. There once was a man named H.J. Daddy Joe Justin, who in 1879 started making boots for the cattle drives of Spanish Fort, Texas. Not long after he started, Daddy Joe moved to Nocona, a growing railroad town, and from that point on, well, Justin boots thrived, making some of the earliest cowboy boots in history. Well, in 1918, Daddy Joe died and left the business to his sons, John and Earl Justin. Well, they saw dollar signs in the big city and decided to leave Nocona for the bright lights of Fort Worth. Well, their sister, Miss Enid, knew her daddy would never approve. So to honor him, she stayed back and in 1925 launched her own Nocona Boot Company. A fierce female entrepreneur and a strong Texas woman, she ran the company until her old age. Wanting to keep it in the family, she sold her business to what had become Justin Industries. However, once she passed away, things got bad again. And in a totally predictable move, they took Nocona Boots out of Nocona and shut down the factory. It looked as if the boot tradition of Nocona was doomed. 100 years of tradition gone. That is until, on a last-ditch effort to keep the tradition alive, a new legacy was born. That is today Fenoglio Boot Company. This is their retail store in the heart of town, and this is manager Cody Crawford.
I guess, you know, at first glance, the name like Fenoglio doesn't sound that Texan, right? It seems like Italian boots or something like that.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we get the question all the time. A, it's how do you pronounce it? And B, where the heck is that from? So, I mean, it's an Italian name,
yeah,
but they've been here so long. And, I mean, we all know that Italians make the best leather goods in the world already.
That's true.
So we're just bringing a little bit of that to Texas. And, I mean, the roots are deeply planted here.
Since the 1880s, in fact, when the family immigrated from Italy in search of a better life in Texas and ultimately found boots. With the void left by Nocona Boots, well, this business also found a workforce of craftsmen and put them back to work doing what they do best, making handcrafted boots.
Boot that's made in Texas, that's going back to a lot of the traditional roots that cowboy boots should be made and how they should be made. They're hand checked, they're hand inspected. There's just a lot of different things. Hands are all over this boot from start to finish. Whether you're getting in and out of a stirrup, you're on the dance floor, you're kicking around the stockyards, the bricks, everything, you can trust that it's gonna stay together for a long time.
Oh, that's cool. I like the things you mentioned. This is what you do in these boots. You get in and out of stirrups, you two-step on the dance floor, you walk around the stockyards.
And they tell a story. They're more personable than a tennis shoe or a dress shoe.
I agree with that, 100%.
Speaking of boots, mine have seen a lot of miles and, well, might be due for an upgrade. And hey, when in Nocona.
So one of the most popular styles we have is the ostrich. That's kind of what you're wearing right there. It's got a narrower square toe on it. Yeah.
I like that. See, I also like this, the
color differentiation.
Yeah. Man, it's a shame that gets covered up by your blue jeans.
I mean, you can shotgun them, wear jeans inside. I mean, I don't do it, but I mean, hey, you got
Is
your
that
own
what that's
style.
called? Shotgunning?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm ready for that yet.
The leathers range from bison to elephant, and the colors are even more varied. But knowing a bit about my style, well, Cody's got something in mind.
All right, let's see here.
Ooh,
Yeah,
dude, I
think
like
that's
that.
you right there, man.
Man.
That stitch pattern actually has a sentimental meaning to me. I drew that on the first week I was working for the company, and
That's cool,
so
man.
this is always my go-to boot when anybody wants something kind of different.
Man, and you know, Chief Nocona, it's got an Indian headdress on it. Let's try these bad boys on.
Sounds good. You're gonna want it to be a little snug at first. The boot's always gonna stretch. This will be the tightest it'll ever be.
I can walk around like this, just like, you know, like the real cowboys do. Yeah, I've always wanted kind of a boot with a little bit of flair to it too.
Yeah.
I like the color. But see, from now on, everybody's going, I like those boots. Like, you think you like them now?
Just
Bam!
wait.
Look
Yeah.
at that. Now, do you like them or what?
If I had $1 for every time I did that somewhere, I wouldn't be working anymore.
Well, looky there. It's barely lunchtime, and I've already nabbed a new pair of boots and a new ball glove. The only thing I'm missing at this point is, well, lunch. Good thing the Fenoglio family doesn't just make boots, but also barbecue. And here's the owner, the man, the myth, the mayor. Seriously, the mayor of Nocona, Robert Fenoglio.
All right, so this is a barbecue joint, or is it burgers, beans, cowboy food?
It's really anything you want. You know, if you want calf fries and you don't bring them in, I'll cook them.
Oh.
We're very easy to get along with here. If you don't have fun here, you won't have it anywhere else. So.
This place itself is just fun. A renovated gas station with a purple smoker and signs covering about every inch of wall.
I like this. I didn't say it was your fault. I just said I was going to blame you. Many have eaten here, few have died.
That's true. You know, people bring me these. I've never bought a sign to put up in here. And a lot of them, like the sign on the door, guns welcome on premises. Some guy put it up while I was gone or closed, you know.
So this is a living, breathing community forum here.
Oh, yeah.
Just add, take away, whatever you want.
And let's just say they leave no guessing that we are indeed in rural Texas. But I'm not here for political banter. I'm here to eat.
So what should I get for lunch today?
Well, we have our special, the bowl of
It's basically a bowl of beans with chopped brisket, sliced sausage, or crumbled hamburger patty. Or if you're really hungry, all three.
the ultimate.
Ultimate bowl of.
So,
So I think that's what I gotta have, with all three. The biggest bowl of you got in the house.
we'll fix you up.
Yeah, all right, perfect. All right, it's a first on the day, Trooper. My first edible bowl of. Here we go. Oh yeah. I mean, what's not to love? I mean, beans, jalapenos, onions, barbecue, a hamburger. I think, you know, they could probably pick a bit tastier name for this dish right here. But hey, I'm not gonna argue, all right? I'm ordering it because it's called the bowl of. I wouldn't order the bowl of beans and meat, you know? I think that sounds delicious. Maybe I would order the bowl of beans and meat. But you call it the bowl of. You gotta know, what does the bowl of taste like? Well, let me tell you, friends, it tastes good. Really good. You can take it to the next level right here. Ready? Oh, yeah. Oh, now it's a bowl of corny.
We now interrupt this programming to remind you to like and subscribe. Now back to the road.
Surprisingly, there is actually a lot to do in this town. For the gearheads and car guys, well, stop into Horton's Classic Car Museum. Or you can wander downtown and admire the art, some of which seems a bit more fit for Marfa. Like this one, entitled Homage to Things That Suck.
Get it? Vacuum cleaners. They suck things up off the floor, right? But then you also have things like big taxes and cancer and bullies. Some local guy had a bunch of vacuums sitting around, so he decided to turn them into artwork. Not bad.
But if you want to go less contemporary art and more historic art, well, there's no better stop than the Tales and Trails Museum. This is board member Gail Smith.
We've been open since 2010 after 15 years of fundraising, and we show all the history of Montague County. We've got stuff dated back to Paleo Indian times, so 6,000 years ago.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, would you show me around?
Sure.
Whether you're looking to learn about leather, oil, or Indians, all the rooms here are very impressive and full of artifacts that you can only see here, especially if you like arrowheads.
We've the largest private collection in public view in the country right now.
Whoa.
So there's well over 10,000
That's amazing.
pieces of stone tools. in here.
Cool. What are these? These are impressive.
There is nothing like this in the entire country, not even in the Smithsonian. These are very strange, highly crafted stone tools from over 6,000 years ago, found here in Montague County. Wow. They were a decorative piece and buried with someone of importance.
Oh, wow.
So, very, very unusual.
There are the stories of Peta Nocona and his son, Quanah Parker. And the oil history in this county is so old, they didn't drill it out, they pounded it out with a sputter. And then we come to the leather days of Montague County. And if you don't think these are some of the finest leather workers in all the world, well, take a look at this.
This Last Supper piece is one hide. It was created by Del Motley, who created many different works of art in leather that are all biblical oriented. We have her entire collection again.
Really? You know, I've seen belts and wallets, maybe a pair of chaps is the biggest, thing I've ever seen.
She did those things too, but this is what she did in her spare time.
Wow. That is a true work of art. You know, like in every corner of Texas, there's so much history. Let's go visit some of these places, shall we?
Time for some sightseeing. First stop, Red River Station, or where Red River Station used to be. But back in the day, it was one of the most important stops on the Chisholm Trail. I'm sure getting there was an adventure back in the day, and it remains the same. I think these are public roads, right, Richie? Maybe?
I mean, I do a lot of trust with you behind the wheel, and I just shoot it.
Oh, okay.
You know?
Hey, Mr. Cow, is this the way to the historic marker?
They don't like it.
I don't think they like outsiders.
You know what it is?
Very much.
You smell like beef.
Oh, I do, man. Cow directions or not, we finally arrived.
Hey, all right, we found it. So here's the historic marker for Red River Station. And there's not much up here nowadays, but if you can imagine, this was the spot where virtually every head of cattle traveling the Chisholm Trail crossed the border into Oklahoma. It was also the last supply stop for 350 miles on the Chisholm Trail. So cool. You can't see it, but just over yonder, past these trees, is the Red River. Let me show you.
I mean, just imagine an estimated 3 million head of cattle crossing at this point, thousands at a time. This was the thundering herd, with cowboys trailing behind, knowing they wouldn't see civilization for weeks. Now that's amazing stuff.
So truly the history along the Red River Valley is incredible. I mean, you got not just the cattle drives, but all the Indian raids that happened all along this part of the country. And so what we're gonna do right now is head just a little bit east, hugging the Red River Valley, to another town that has a very interesting history all its own.
Spanish Fort, Texas, which ironically today has neither Spanish nor a fort, just an abandoned general store, a city park, and a monument answering everyone's burning question.
So you may be wondering why this town is named Spanish Fort. Well, that, my friends, is actually a very interesting story.
There was once a fort here, although it wasn't Spanish. It was Talvayan, a local Indian tribe. And one day, the French arrived.
Oh, bonjour! We have some fancy plates to trade for your fancy beads. Okay. Merci. And here is a French flag to fly. Remember, if you see the dirty Spanish, kill them.
Au revoir! Well, the Toivayans flew the French flag, and one day the Spanish did arrive, angry about a recent Indian raid.
Hey, look, Pablo, the French flag. It is our mortal enemy. They were behind the raid. Attack!
But instead of finding the French, well, they found a force of 6,000 Indians ready for combat.
Oh, ay, Dios mío! Run away! Run away!
And after a short battle, the Indians straight up whooped the Spanish. Well, many years later, the fort was eventually abandoned and new travelers arrived.
Hank, come check this out. Who you think built this?
Well, as someone who knows everything about everything, it could have only been the Spanish. So I hereby name this town Spanish Fort. Wow, Hank, you are the smartest. And well, even though completely wrong, the name stuck. And that's why we have a Spanish Fort, Texas. And with this monument, we've officially done everything there is to do in town. So let's head back to the big city, because by my watch, it's dinner time. Downtown Nocona is an interesting place with some awesome New Orleans-inspired architecture. And in one of these buildings, you'll find the Red River Pizzeria. Owners Tony and Teresa Durker know a thing about Italian pizza and Texas wine. This is kind of like a hidden wine country up here on the Red River Valley, isn't it?
It's an amazing thing, that the treasures that you find in the North Hill country. So these are two of my favorites. They're dry reds. One is from the Blue Ostrich Winery, and then the other one is from RK.
I've heard of both of these.
But they're delicious.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks for having us.
My pleasure.
So, are you new to the pizza business, or is this something you've been doing for decades?
Well, no, it's funny. My wife and I, we've been married almost 34 years, and ever since I've known her, she's wanted to open a pizzeria. And, you know, okay, fine. And, you know, I told her dad that one time too, and he said, well, I got news for you. Ever since I've known her, she's wanted to open a pizzeria. So this property came available. We took it, built the restaurant, and here we are.
Yeah. She finally is living her childhood dream,
she's
huh?
Living her dream.
Quite a dream for someone whose day job is being an IBM exec, proving that it's never too late to live your own dreams. They were trained by Italian chefs and now serve what they call authentic Italian pizza. I think of all pizza as being Italian. So what does Italian pizza mean to you?
Very good question. Italian pizza is a thin crust, light sauce.
So if you were, hiking the Italian countryside and you came upon this little villa, this is the kind of pizza you might find.
Well, let me just, of course, I'm not biased or anything like that, but I've had some friends that have come into this restaurant that spent a lot of time in Italy.
Yeah.
And they said our pizza's better. I don't know if they're being nice, but that was just it. But,
hey, we'll take it. What would you say I get for dinner? What pie?
If you like a lot of ingredients.
Anything and everything.
I would do the Murph.
Okay, all right, Murph it is then.
This is the Red River Supreme, complete with, well, everything.
All right. I support this Supreme right here.
Oh, that's hot.
I should have probably let it cool a little bit, but that is some delicious pizza. Hey, check it out. A little bit of pineapple poking out of the top. Some piña for the pizza. I like it. I must say I'm glad I got the large pizza.
What a day. We tripped up to North Texas only to find ourselves in the center of the Texas mystique. Cattle drives, cowboy boots, and barbecue, but also a town where the Texas past collides with the unexpected. Get ready, because we're throwing you a day trip you don't want to drop. Only one thing left to do, dessert and more pizza.
So, what's better than Rocky Road? How about Rico Road? Nutella, caramel, chocolate, cookie crumbles, pecans, marshmallows, toasted in the pizza oven. Oh my goodness. This, my friends, is the way to finish up a day trip. So I will see all y'all out on the road. Bye con Dios, amigos. Virtually every head of cattle traveling the Trism Trail. Can you hear that? Oh, yeah. Okay, this marker here marks. This marker marks. Over 1 million head of cattle kind of funneling all throughout Texas, through the wind, through the rain, through the... Yeah, I know. Out in the country, past the city limit signs. I really don't know that dance, I promise. It means he who talks a lot. That's my Indian name.
Running mouth.
Running mouth.
Running mouth, yeah.
Grab your belly.
Do the truffle shuffle.
Truffle shuffle.
Howdy, y'all. Follow along with my adventures at Chet Tripper on Instagram and at The Day Tripper TV on Facebook and YouTube. Or head to thedaytripper.com for travel guides, past episodes, and info on our mobile app and Team Day Tripper. This episode was made for y'all with the help of our awesome partners. Check the caption for more info. Howdy, y'all. Chet the Day Tripper here. Thanks so much for tripping with us. Remember, while you're here, like this video, subscribe to our channel so that we can stay out there on the road and keep on tripping. Did we miss anything in this town? Leave us a comment, let us know. We love finding out about new stops with all of your tips. And if you love Epic Texas Day Trips, remember to check our channel. We got a lot of them on there. Also, don't forget, if you want some sweet Day Tripper merch or another cool Texas-made product, come see us in Georgetown at the Day Tripper World Headquarters. You can also shop online if you check the link down there in the caption. All right, y'all. Bye con Dios, amigos.